Asian Cup 2023 continues for them tonight. As you can see, Hong Kong are right on top of that pile with 6 points and a goal difference that suddenly looks very healthy. +4, no less. India were top at the end of Wednesday night. It was the first setting in the City of Joy and the iconic Salt Lake to kickstart proceedings on Wednesday. And now what better than 3 more points 3 days later to make it a super Saturday. 2 changes for India. No Brandon, who's created 4 of the 8 goals that India have scored in World Cup and Asian Cup qualifiers so far, and no Thapa either, who looked like he picked up a knock against Cambodia. So a chance for Ashik Kurunian and Jeekson Singh to come on as 2 changes as India look to make it 2 wins out of 2. So that's as far as the Blue Tigers are concerned. But what about the opposition? The 5 changes, no less, for Afghanistan made by Anush Dastgir, their coach. Amiri, Azad Zoy, Shayeste, Intezar and Hamidi, the goalkeeper, come in as Azizi, the usual number 1 in goal, goes to the bench. So do Popalzai, Zelfi, Nazari, Ahmadi, who started up front against Hong Kong, and Abdul Najim Hedri, also available to be brought on later, perhaps. It's a huge occasion for India, looking to make it 2 wins out of 2 in front of these fans. The Mecca of Indian football has witnessed many a fabled chapter of Indian footballing history. Time for Shrimats's men to add another to its glittering history as they get ready for the Afghan test, a side ranked 150th in the world. Smiles on the faces as familiar people interact in the tunnel. Masi Saigani, no stranger to Indian football, and you'll see many more. And we'll bring you all the stories as well from this Afghan camp. But it's all about the 3 points. Since bowing out of the World Cup qualifiers and failing to beat Afghanistan in both those matches in Dushanbe and Doha, India now need to bridge that gap in class and quality. And what better than to do it in front of your own faithful, as they look to now realize a so far unfulfilled dream of qualifying for back-to-back Asian Cups in their entire footballing history. I'm sure the former Bengaluru, Kerala and Mohun Bagan man agrees with me as I welcome him in anticipation of what should be a scintillating Saturday night, Darren.
Massive occasion, Anand, for both sides. You can see the Indian team is ready to step out, and cheers from the fans. This Indian side know that if you can pick up 3 points tonight, they'll be 1 step closer to that AFC Asian Cup 2023 spot. But it won't be easy. This Afghanistan side are hurting. They've lost their previous game, and they are going to come out with all sorts of fire and attack. Igor Stimac, we know, has made a couple of changes to his side. Jeekson, who's come in, will add that solidity in midfield. And the fans are absolutely loving this, Anand.
It was an absolute spectacle created by them. It was a magical and surreal evening to see more than 30,000 on a Wednesday night here at the Salt Lake. You can see the tricolours are out already. And reminds you why football or any sport is absolutely nothing without fans. We felt that in Goa as we covered the ISL final in front of fans. Darren and I got a more than good glimpse of that when we were commentating on the AFC Cup games recently as the Mariners progressed to the next round in front of their faithful right here. But Salt Lake is an experience like no other. The referees would know everything about it as well. The banners of the late great Chuni Goswami in a tribute to the Asian Games victory he captained India towards 60 years ago. The heartfelt tribute to Novi Kapadia was seen as well, one of the most prominent voices of football in India. A banner dedicated to women's football. The plethora of tricolours will be flying around today as well and being waved around. The noise, the vibe, the routine, the emptiness of seats have given way to the wholesome, warm and fuzzy feeling of almost a family-like get-together here for Pujo or Diwali or Eid or Christmas or New Year's Eve even. I'm sure it will grow as Indian football goes from strength to strength today. A big challenge for them today. But as they say, there's also an opportunity on the other side, Dan Caldera.
3 points, and 3 points, that's what it's all about. And it's such a big occasion. The captain there for Shad Noor, who knows what's on his hands right now. Scored in his previous game, and he'll want to get on the score sheet again tonight.
First, it's time for the national anthem here at the Salt Lake Stadium.
Please stand up for the national anthem of Afghanistan. the national anthem of India.
Hear the roar, feel the vibe, feel the atmosphere here at the Salt Lake. The city of joy expects big things from the Blue Tigers. The fans have turned up in big numbers and they're saying, come on India, because it is all about the 3 points today. The opposition comes from Afghanistan, but can the Blue Tiger rise to the occasion, make it 2 wins out of 2 and take another strong and significant step towards AFC Asian Cup 2023. They've never qualified for back-to-back Asian Cups in their glorious history. Here's the chance. The captain knows it. The #1 shot stopper in the country knows it. The defender in Sandesh Jingan knows it. All the youngsters in that camp that Igor Stimats has brought here know it. And so do these gentlemen in red. They would love to spoil a party here. And what better to do it than in Kolkata? Razlan Joffrey Ali from Malaysia is the referee for today. There's another assistant from Malaysia, another assistant from the Republic of Iran in Arman Asadi, and the 4th official comes from Palestine today. Captain Sunil Chhetri, Farshad Noor, the captain on the other side. The flip of the coin. Sunil gets to choose first. And that's it then. The formalities are over. The handshakes are also over. Time for a photograph or two, and maybe to afford a smile or two as well, but only for now, because after that, it's 90 minutes of high-octane adrenaline action that we will bring to you. And you can see what it means to Sandesh Jingan, to all the boys in there. Darren, this is massive.
Well, that's the mentality. That's what's required right now. And it's coming from Sandesh Jingan, the man at the heart of the defense. This Afghanistan side at the moment look very much pumped as well. This is everything for them. This is like a final. Sunil Chhetri, the captain, having words with his team.
Four places separate Afghanistan and India in the FIFA rankings. And the last time these sides met in 21, a 1-1 draw. Exactly 104 places separated them in the FIFA rankings as well. Right. Everything now in the past, and now there's a future to pay for a brighter tomorrow. India need to start well tonight by throwing down the gauntlet against Afghanistan in front of what could be more than 50,000 fans and setting the standard right. It's kick-off here at the Salt Lake. And Darren, this could go either way, but India have to make it go their way somehow. And what is that way, according to you?
Start on the front foot from the first minute. That's so important for this Indian side. That's been the difference every single time we played Afghanistan. We've given them, allowed them to pass the ball around. And I don't think we'd be seeing that tonight from this Indian side.
One of the 2 changes made by Igor Stimats. Jigson. Ashik Kurunian's on the ball. Look at the roar. And that's the urgency and the pace that India would love to show. The fans have filled the stands. The occasion demands a spectacle. It demands a show for a team that's never made it to back-to-back Asian camps. They know it will not be easy because making history never is. Ashik Kurunian, the other change made by Stimats today.
Positive start from India. You can see Ashik has moved to that left flank, which is allowing Liston to play a lot more central. We're going to see a lot more of Ashik tonight.
There's the veteran, Haroon Amiri. I'm sure everybody in India know everything about him. The captain of the SAF Cup winning team, now in the centre of that Afghan defence. Mumbai AFC, Dempo, DSK Shivajians, Mohun Bagan, Chennai City, Gokulam, Kerala even. And also a stint at New Radiant in the Maldives. Haroon Amiri will be absolutely pivotal to them in their defence, particularly after what happened against Hong Kong in their first game.
Well, that's quite the career in Indian football for Haroon Amiri. Probably one of the reasons why the coach has got him back into the starting 11. He's played countless of times at the stadium.
The chance of India everywhere here at the Salt Lake. Haroon Amiri's partner in defence will be Sharif Muhammad, who knows everything about playing at the Salt Lake as well, having just led that Gokulam Kerala side to become the first I-League team ever to win back-to-back titles. Ashik's won the ball. Liston. Bit of a foul there, and the referee spotted it in time. It came from Noor Hussain, who was guilty for that first goal that they conceded. Did Afghanistan in the previous game. Here he is again.
That's a good turn from Liston Kulas. A slight tug of the jersey from Noor Hussain. But right from the start, this Afghanistan side are pressing India. And there they win the ball from that pressing.
Sandesh Chingan pivotal to that Indian defence. A rare clean sheet in the last game. This could be trouble for India. Jeekson Singh arrives in time. Cleared away by Anwar, but only for now. And suddenly a wave of pressure came out of absolutely nowhere. And that's what they have to be wary of. The likes of Ahmed Haidery will be lurking around on that left-hand side.
Yes, too close for comfort there. This Indian defence need to be careful, because they're not being allowed a second on the ball from this Afghanistan side.
Another header won by Sandesh Chingan, who did go into the referee's book, Darren, in the previous game, and very early on as well. There's Akash Mishra, the boy from Uttar Pradesh, who gave up cricket to take football instead, and I'll be grateful for that. Ashik's cross coming in, and no chances taken by the former skipper in Haroon Amiri, because Sunil Chhetri was just around, and so was Manveer Singh on the far post. But that is the pace that Ashik brings, the urgency that he brings, and ideas going forward as well, Darren.
Yes, good exchange of passes there between Akash Mishra and Liston, who lays it off for Ashik. Not the best cross coming in, but they win a corner nevertheless.
And no Brandon to take it, so his fellow Goan Liston will be on corner duties, it looks like it. Plenty of interested parties in the box as well. Liston delivers the corner, cleared away much before it could reach even the near post. Back to Liston. His skill, he's got the trickery as well to boot. Ashik knew what he was doing there, and he challenged Haidery, knowing very well that the referee's whistle would go. Banter.
Yeah, you love to see that. A poor ball coming in for starters from Liston. Should be clearing the first man. A little too strong from Ashik Kurunian, but that's not a bad area, not a bad position on the field to give a foul away.
Won by Manveer. Watch out for him on the right side. He'll have a point to prove as well after it didn't quite work out for him the way he would have imagined in the previous game, Darren.
Yeah, he had a quiet game by his lofty standards that he set off late. But again, you can never count on Manveer. There he is on the ball again. Just worked so hard for the team, Anand.
Oh, it's fell kindly to him. Manveer Singh looking to score on his own and just tackled in time and stolen away by the Afghan defence. And how close was that? Because he was about to pull the trigger. And another day, that could have been 1-0 India already. Sandesh Chingan is down, but the referee's whistle is gone.
That's end-to-end action at the moment. What a start to this game. A long ball coming in there, and just a slight nudge in Sandesh Chingan's back. The right decision from the referee. Great skill from Amiri Singh, goes past a couple of players and just in time Intizar with that clearance.
Ashik is already becoming a headache for David Ahmed Najm, born in New Jersey, and he'd rather be there right now because that's the kind of pace that Ashik has shown up against him. And Anush Dastagir would know everything about this Indian side as well. He watched them closely, had an audacious statement going into this game about how India got lucky the last time, or in fact the last two times they faced up against Afghanistan. Would have spurred a few of these Indian players on. Liston took that quickly. And it should be another corner.
Well, India change it around this time with a short corner. Falls to Roshan Singh. We know he's got a good right foot, but again, that's a poor cross coming in. You have to try and beat the first man. You've got 5 men in the box.
I don't know if they asked for a replay to check whether the corner should be taken from here or there, but eventually I think they've agreed to one. This is the 3rd corner already for India. That just tells you what they're looking to do. Even in the previous game, goals coming from set-piece situations. Never a bad option. But who's going to deliver it? It looks like Roshan Singh with his left foot, looking to whip it in. Roshan with the corner. Just above Manveer, just above Manveer. Another cross coming in. Sandesh Jhingan is there. So far, the Afghan defence stands strong. Sunil Chhetri, back to Liston. Jigson, back to Liston. So many of the attacks going through him, but well won here by the Afghans. Released as well very quickly. India will have to watch out for this one. And just when a pass could have met the number 9, Azad Zoy, it was stolen away.
And stolen away from none other than Suresh Wangjam, who I thought was brilliant in the first game against Cambodia.
There come the Afghans again. And dealt with by Roshan Singh. Liston's actually done the referee a favour there by hitting him. It almost looks like it because he's just been running up and down in the first 10 minutes of the game. There you go, Jigson to Liston. Bang on the referee.
Not much in that challenge from Sandesh Jhingan in the box. Azad Zoy, who's got the knack of scoring goals, is going to be a thorn for this Indian defence because he constantly runs, constantly puts pressure on the defence.
The number 9 for Afghanistan, Azad Zoy, did score in the 9th minute in that 2013 SAF Cup final where Afghanistan probably surprised themselves as well when they won in Kathmandu. But they haven't beaten India on Indian soil, and that's exactly what they will be looking to do. It's been a mixed bag of a start. India have had a few opportunities on the other side, but they've committed a lot of bodies forward, which means it's also been opening chances for Afghanistan on the counter. Liston to Chhetri. That's a foul given.
That's just clever there from Liston Kulasa and Noor Hussain, not for the first time committing a foul. Knows exactly what he's doing because he was beaten there. But just some clever movement from Liston Kulasa.
That's a nice comfortable chair for Igor Stimac. Don't think he'll be that comfortable inside. Liston, Sunil's on the ball. Out wide to Roshan, his club teammate. Jigson. Oh, good turn. And Liston knows he's drawn another foul. And this time from the captain of the opposition. Very clever this from the Goan.
Such intelligent play, Liston. He knows exactly where he is on the field. Just beats both players with that first touch. And the captain this time with the foul. And this is from a distance where we've seen Liston Kulasa try free kicks for his club multiple times, Anand. And it looks like he's placed the ball down and he fancies himself.
The question is he going to go for it? What's your money on Darren? Straight for goal or a routine?
From the looks of it, he's definitely going for goal.
Absolutely. For somebody who's never scored for India, why not? The 12th minute of the game in the City of Joy at the Salt Lake. Liston Colasso. A four-man wall in front of him, but he's not thinking about that. He's thinking of Hamiri's goal behind him. Liston Colasso didn't get the dip. Didn't get the dip that he was looking for.
But he gets it up and over the wall, yes. But you're spot on, Anand. There's no dip on it. Keeps flying over the crossbar. This is where early on in the game, when you get set pieces like this, you should try and test the goalkeeper. Don't have to go for too much of power. Just try and hit the target.
Yeah, 17 shots in the previous game as well, and even a 71% possession statistic. Plenty of corners. Even the fact that both goals technically coming from set pieces, as Liston gets on the ball once again. Ashik's on his bike once again, and quite comfortably beats the fullback. But the cross has just gone 2 yards further than where Manveer Singh wanted it to be, perhaps.
Promising again from the Indian side. But you have to give credit to Igor Stimac. I think he's got his formation spot on, and the personnel as well. He's allowing Jeekson to sit in front of the defence, which gives Liston Colasso and Ashik Kurunian a lot more time on the ball.
And he's a feisty character, isn't he, Ashik? You can foul him all evening long, but he's not going to go down that easy. Might even give one back, and Farshad Noor would know that.
Well, I had a chat with a couple of his teammates a few months ago about playing Ashik Kurunian in training, and when you play up against him, everyone hates it. No one likes coming up against him because he's constantly hustling for the ball, always wants to win it, and he's just a thorn every single time.
Are you suggesting he leaves a mark on the field and some start marks on the opposition as well sometimes?
No, you don't want to see that.
Comes from the sugarcane fields of Mallapuram though, so he's possibly the sweetest guy otherwise. There you go, Ashik once again towards Akash. Needs a good cross here. Akash delivers. Sunil Chhetri pulls the trigger with his left, but didn't get any contact on that. And he's saying exactly that to the referee as well. Possibly the shirt being pulled just before he was ready to release that shot.
That's good defending in the end from the Afghanistan side. Great play from Ashik Kurunian and Akash Mishra. The cutback, he's looking for Sunil Chhetri, but they get bodies behind the ball, get bodies in the box and make sure they clear the danger.
Fourth corner for India. Liston to deliver it. Liston's corner. They'll be asking for another corner here, the Indians. Sunil Chhetri looks very confident. And certainly do get another corner. Although Sharif Muhammad, the Gokulam Kerala captain, is not happy with that decision.
Well, that's a great ball coming in this time from Liston. And you can see there's a touch. And it looks like a slight touch from Sharif Muhammad itself. Oh no, maybe it's off Anwar Ali. A little lucky to get that corner.
50-50. Should we go with that? Right then. Another set piece. This is the fifth corner for India. And every time it goes to the far side on your screens, Roshan looks to deliver it with his left. Got ability with both feet, to be honest, but he'll certainly whip them in.
Well, you watch Sunil Chhetri there. He's waiting at the edge of the box, Anand. It looks like something they've practiced on the training ground. He is definitely going to make a late run.
Absolutely. Liston's at the top of the box as well. Now Roshan Singh delivers. A header comes in as well. Oh, how close was that? Sunil Chhetri knows it. Jeekson knows it. No stranger to scoring famous goals.
Beautiful ball there coming in. Jeekson again. We've seen him score for country. We've seen him score for his club as well from a similar position. And also close in the end. He would be disappointed not hitting the target. That's a great opportunity. Just has to glance it towards goal.
How fitting it would have been in a women's under-17 World Cup year for that under-17 World Cup star who scored that goal of Sanjeev Stalin's set piece to announce himself in India colours here. What better to do it in full cover? There you go, Suresh. Manveer was asking for it, was played through for him, but dealt with again by the Afghan defence. So many questions asked of them. So far they've been able to answer most of them. That's
That ball from Jeekson just gives it away. When you're on the front foot. When you've got possession, you have to try and keep the ball a lot more. This is where you'd expect the Indian side to maybe, once they lose the ball, put a little more pressure. And this guy, Suresh Singh, such an engine in the middle of the park. He's always looking to help his teammates out in cover ground.
Quite comfortably in India's favour, the possession at the moment. It's how they finish that matters. Should be offside, and indeed called correctly against Ahmed Umran Haidery.
He's definitely a yard or two offside. No complaints from him as well. And Igor Stimac would be very happy with the boys. They've started well. They've got majority possession. They're creating a lot more chances. But they have to start hitting the target more. They have to test the goalkeeper and get that important goal.
A little more direct, looking for Chhetri again. Manvi's got the base to burn. It just loses possession there. Good challenge coming in.
That's back with India again. This is what I like to see. As soon as Jason gets the ball, you can see the likes of Akash Mishra or Roshan Singh at the other end pushing forward, adding an extra player in attack.
Oh, given away here. Suresh will be called into action straight away. Kuyar, who looked very impressive in the first half, in particular against Hong Kong. Looking to create some space for himself. There are two Indian players marking him and win the ball, and look who's got it, and look where he's got it. Liston Colasso. I think there's a swap of the flanks as well, with Ashik on the left-hand side and Liston operating more on the other side, perhaps, or maybe in a free role.
He's playing a little more a central role, playing in centre midfield, receiving those balls in the middle of the park, but he's picking clever positions. That's what's important.
It's a couple of strides for the man who's closer to 7 feet than 6 in India's goal.
Always a shot at the back, the big man Gurpreet Singh. Anush Dastagir there, looks a bit nervous. Will be happy his side haven't conceded, but they are on the back foot at the moment.
Here's a chance for Afghanistan to keep the ball a little better, and just as I say, the captain Farshad Noor finds a lovely diagonal ball, dealt with awkwardly and then dealt with beautifully by Naram Roshan Singh.
Much better from Afghanistan there. How about that for a long diagonal from the captain? Picks Kuyar brilliantly there. Just that first touch lets him down, and Roshan Singh is quick to close him down. But they have a corner here.
Yeah, I thought it fell very kindly for Kuyar, and then eventually just bounced up awkwardly and gave just that half a second extra to Roshan to deal with it. 20 minutes played here at the Salt Lake. Kuyar, who won the corner, is now ready to deliver it, but takes it short. Plenty of waiting parties trying to get onside. And should be another corner. There's a one-man wall in front, but that was enough.
Well, it's strange that they tried the short corner because they've got 5 men in the box. Why don't you just float it in towards the second post? They've got a couple of men there.
The former skipper Faisal Shahiste delivers it. And the current skipper collects it, and Farshad Noor, headed away by Cheekson, will bring a throw in for the Lions of Khorasan, as they're famously known. Certainly got to play like that today. They know the challenge. We've seen it in the first 20 minutes.
Well, the likes of Farshad Noor, the captain, and Shahiste need to get more on the ball. These are the two players who can really hurt this Indian defence.
can. This man certainly can. Whereas number 17 on the back of his shirt, a quite unique number by itself. It's a good dummy played by Manveer Singh. Plenty of hands being used there.
Well, that was a good dummy. Roshan Singh not on the same wavelength. Not aware that his teammate is probably going to try that out.
They've known each other a while, these sides. They'll know everything about them. India did meet Afghanistan first in the 1951 Asian Games semi-final in New Delhi. They won that match 3-0 with P. Venkatesh, Mevalal and Santosh Nandi scoring for the hosts before India went on to clinch the Asian Games gold with a win against Iran as Mevalal scored again just past the half-hour mark in the capital. Since then, they've mostly met in the SAF Championship, where Afghanistan registered a famous win in 2013 that we touched upon earlier, with Haroon Amiri being the captain there. That was in Kathmandu. Azad Zoy, in fact, the current number 9, scoring in the 9th minute to put the Afghans ahead. Oh, a bit of wrestling from Farshad Noor. He'll have to be careful here. Ashik knew what he was trying to do. And Farshad Noor's just gotten frustrated with that.
The temper's flaring there. Haroon Amiri getting involved, Shaiste getting involved. Can see a couple of players crowding up. Igor's team actually just making sure his boys calm down. You don't want to pick up needless yellow cards.
Yeah, no yellows yet, just some instructions being issued to Farshad Noor. Even Faisal Shaiste has joined the mini conference there near the touchline. There's a wave going around at the Salt Lake. They're just here to watch and enjoy the football. Igor Shrimats just cuts a worried expression, but it's more because of the safety of Ashik Kurunin. And there's a yellow card for Farshad Noor. Indian captain got a yellow card in the previous game. The Afghan captain gets one in this game, and that is why it happened. Was a foul from Ashik though.
Yeah, clear foul from Ashik, but you can see there, swings that elbow towards Ashik. Doesn't need to do that, it's just frustration. Great work from the referee. Spots that foul. In the end, make sure there's no afters.
Plays his football in Bahrain, does Farshad Noor. An excellent footballer. That's why he has the captain's armband. There are plenty of leaders in this Afghan outfit. We talked about Haroon Amiri, their centre-back. There's also Sharif Muhammad, who captains Gokulam Kerala. This is our captain, and Sunil Chhetri, as the Indians would remind you. Given against India there. Suresh Wangjam doesn't like the decision, but there was a lot of kicks flying around. The lack of a better phrase.
Yeah, it's a feisty affair, Anand. Very committed players on the field. Everyone wants to win the ball, and that's good to see.
It's a beautiful sight here at the Salt Lake. The flashlights are on. The crowd's really gotten into this. They're right behind their side here. And that's what home advantage is all about. India lucky, even though it's just about 3 games to get their house in order. They managed to win 1. They've got to deal with this Afghan attack though at the moment, and it will bring a corner. Sandesh Jigan was there. He almost took it upon himself to say Kuyar might be able to release a shot, need to get in there and block it out.
That's beautiful work from Kuyar there. Just when you thought he's going to unleash a shot with his right foot, takes it back on his left. But Jingan does what he does best. Gets in front of the ball, defends well. And they need to make sure they defend this corner well, the Indian side.
He was the captain in the 2015 SAF Cup final. Afghanistan came up short. Shaiste delivers. Wangjam's not the tallest man on the pitch. A good skill from Farshad Noor to begin with. Ashik still around him. He's already made sure that the captain's got into the referee's book. He's not going away in a hurry.
Well, the captain does really well to keep possession. Quality player on the ball.
In cricketing terminology, he pierced the gap to absolute perfection there. But in footballing terminology, that's a miss pass like no other. And Farshad Noor knows, because he was in a good position there. He just gotten to his feet. Something could have been made out of it.
He expected the ball to his feet. The ball was played in space. And they just give away possession again, Afghanistan. Well, we know it's a hot and humid day, Anand. I'm sure Amiri did not mean that. There's probably some tussling going on in the box before that.
Yeah, that shirt's been ripped off, and that'll have to be changed. I wonder if he gets the same number back. He's just having a word with the fourth official there, Bara Kamal Abu Ashe from Palestine, and saying something to the effect of why that wasn't spotted earlier. But it does give an opportunity to the players to just get, you know, some refreshments in and cool down a little bit here. It is getting pretty hot and feisty, and I do not mean the weather.
We've had a great start on to this game of football. I think both sides are trying to play. They're not sitting back, because this is such an important match for both teams. They need to get all 3 points. Igor Stimac giving his instructions to Sandesh, which is making sure that you don't allow the likes of Farshad Noor, the captain, to get time on the ball, because when he picks a pass, he's very, very good at it. Well, the captain needs to be careful as well. He's already on a yellow card. And we've seen he's been putting a couple of challenges in the middle of the park.
Right, back to it then, back to the football. 2 draws against Afghanistan in the World Cup qualifiers. India do have a point to prove. They've started off on the front foot, which is great to see for their faithful here at the Salt Lake. Liston's down again. No foul given, and I think rightly so as well. Won quite fairly there, the ball. This time it is a foul. Jeekson hasn't quite done that, and the captain just continues to cut a frustrated figure. There's been so many fouls, and he possibly is the most fouled player on the pitch after Liston.
Just clever there from the captain. Knows exactly where Jeekson is, protecting the football well.
Just got a glimpse of Milad Intizar. Beautiful name, by the way. One of the 5 changes made by Anush Dastagir today. He's gotten in the experience of Harun Amiri in the starting 11. He's gotten in the experience of Faisal Shaiste in that starting 11. He knows the enormity of this. They lose today, they're as good as on the flight home. And no Asian Cup 2023 for them.
And the changes are justifying their inclusion right now in this 11. Intizar looking solid. You've got Amiri looking solid as well. And again, that's a free kick, cheap free kick given away by Hedri. He doesn't need to do that. Roshan is just next to his goal, needs to just cover.
And then there's Sunil Chhetri on the other side. Will complete 17 years in international football tomorrow, 12th of June. 17 years.
Wow, that's just wow, Anand.
Incredible achievement that is, absolutely. Not to forget the 82 goals that he scored for the country. 58 of them have come in a winning cause for the nation as well.
Well, he scored the last 10 goals out of the 20 scored by India. So that shows how important he is to the Indian national team.
I mean, there were chats of whether Rahul Bheki could be included in the side today to just give him a defensive steal. Akash Mishra wins the ball, wins the corner, got into space and just bust a cut to get to it. Ooh, that doesn't look good for Sharif Muhammad. That doesn't look good at all. We're just holding on to his hamstring there, and it could be an early change here for Afghanistan.
Yes, another lung-busting run from Akash Mishra, and you can see straight away Sharif Muhammad puts in the block and holds his hammy. It looks like a slight hamstring strain, and the way he has reacted, I do not think he will be able to continue.
That's a big blow. We were talking about the big pivotal figures for Anush Dastagir's side on the pitch. Sharif is certainly one of them, alongside Harun in that defense.
Yes, he's an experienced player. Sharif Muhammad was playing his football very recently at this very stadium for Gokulam Kerala in the AFC Cup.
Yeah, what a fairy tale story that turned out to be, in contrast to the visuals you're seeing right now. There was so much to celebrate for the side from Kerala. I mean, it's been a great time for Kerala overall, with the Santosh Trophy triumph, the women doing what they've been doing over the years. Another title for them, and quite comfortably as well. Plenty of goals, an unbeaten streak. Afghanistan have had their troubles over the years in not being able to organize enough friendlies for themselves. It's a time of turmoil as well in their country, and a lot of these footballers, and Anush Dastagir pointed to this as well, are people who are plying their trade internationally in parts of Europe and across the world. It's very difficult to put a national team together for a camp. They did go to Vietnam before this. They did lose 2 games there, but it gave them exposure. It's so difficult for him to put out a side which is played together for any reasonable amount of time. Got to give credit where it's due.
Well, I was speaking to one of the players from the Afghan national side, and he did mention, yes, they had a 2-week preparatory camp in Vietnam where they played Saigon FC and the national team. But it wasn't enough. You need more time with the players. Preparation is so key, especially when you try to qualify for your first ever Asian Cup.
Players have had their drinks just past the half-hour mark here at the Salt Lake. And Sharif Muhammad is still off. He's just got heavy bandaging on the right hamstring. He's trying to just sort of run it off, but I don't think he'll be able to that comfortably. He's struggling. But Liston is going to take this opportunity of a 10-man Afghanistan looking to defend this set piece. Liston delivers, punched away by the new goalkeeper for Afghanistan. Oh, that was a kick flying in, but here's a chance of a counter for Afghanistan if they can get to it somehow, but I think it's too far for Hedri to get to it. But he might have won a throw in. No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't.
Great defensive work again from young Suresh Wangjam. As soon as that falls to the captain, Farshad Noor, he's looking for that long diagonal. But great work there.
Right, there's a change coming on, as I can see at the touchline. Sharif Muhammad will not continue. We wish him all the best on the road to recovery, never easy. And Omid Popalzai, who did start the previous game, is looking ready to come on, which could also bring about a slight change in formation. You would expect Popalzai to be doing everything right for them going forward. So who's stepping in defense with Harun Amiri? We'll answer that in a minute maybe. Manveer Singh. It's incredible how many times he's fallen to the turf list and gotten back up. This time no foul given.
It didn't look like a foul, but just coming back to what you mentioned earlier, Anand, where would Popalzai play? We've seen the captain in the first game drop into central defense for Farshad Noor, and that probably could be one of the formation changes.
Substitution for Afghanistan. Number 21, Sharif Muhammad is replaced by number 19, Omid Popalzai.
You got a feel for Sharif Muhammad, and I'm sure there's a little piece of people's hearts in Kerala perhaps who's just thinking, you want a fair contest as much as possible, and it's just heart-wrenching to see injuries like that in a crunch clash like this when the scoreline still very much is in the balance.
Yeah, it's always disappointing to see a player go off injured, and someone of his stature, because he is such a rock in defense for Afghanistan.
Just like Sandesh Jingan did there for India. Ashik. They're looking to close them down straight away. They're trying not to let them enter their half, or Afghanistan. Well won there. Was much better from Noor Hussain, although India won the ball back. And that's been the theme of the first half an hour or so played here at the Salt Lake. Clattered into Chhetri did Harun Amiri. He's feeling his rib there, Chhetri, but time for Manveer to get on his bike. And just in time arrives Milad Intizar.
Well, I wasn't far away, using the left foot there. Straight away the ball falls to Roshan Singh, and we know he can whip it in with his left foot, but I think he saw the keeper off his line. not covering that first post. In the end, the keeper, Hamidi, needs to make that save, just pushes it out for a corner.
Just wondering if the keeper could have done better there, but we talk about that perhaps after the corner's taken from Roshan. Whips it in again, a header attempt again. Not good enough again, and these chances keep coming and they keep going.
Roshan Singh and Liston Kulwasa have now been putting some great balls in the box, but they're just not able to find one of their teammates. This is where the Indian side need to make these set pieces count.
Just wondering if they can try a different routine as well, Darren. We saw that in Guwahati when Brandon took the set piece and led to the opener from Sunil Chhetri. Here's a chance. Looked innocuous at the start. It looks like it's gone out of play as well. Should have been a corner. I think it's belatedly given as one.
Well, you're right about changing it around. The second goal that Sunil Chhetri scored against Cambodia was from a short corner. But that was when we had Brandon Fernandes on the pitch. David Najim there, we can see, has slotted into a centre-back position alongside Harun Amiri.
Change of routine. 8th corner for India. Finally, a big change as well towards Akash. Plays Liston. He's down on the ground. Akash still has the ball. Shoots himself. Draws a block. It was a poor touch to begin with by Roshan, and suddenly there's space for Manveer Singh on the right. Manveer cuts it in. Good skill from Jeekson to begin with, but I think he was almost found in a space where he's not used to finding himself with his feet. Gone for a goal kick.
That was another big opportunity for India. Clever work there. You can see all the Afghanistan players rushing into the box, but that's a cut back for Jeekson Singh. It's that first touch that lets him down. Goes away from him in the end. They managed to defend it.
Maybe a first-time shot. That's also a learning curve. We talk about playing stiffer, tougher opposition in Jordan and Bahrain and Belarus. We touched upon it in the last game as well, Darren. There's also a learning curve for the likes of Jeekson and Naram, Roshan Singh and Akash. Ashiq's played on the big stage in the Asian Cup and certainly drew a lot of headlines there. Plenty of Asian press interested in finding out a little more about the likes of Ashiq Kurunian and Anirudh Thapa then.
The young Indian players have definitely been stepping up on the international stage as well. This is where you want the Indian side to start and try and press this Afghanistan side. Don't let them time on the ball. They're giving them too much of time. It's looking all too easy. The Afghanis are just taking their time, making those sideways passes. Won't really hurt the Indian side.
I also want to get Sunil Chhetri into the game a little more. Liston's been doing his bit. Manveer Singh has made a few interesting and attractive runs on that right-hand side. Ashiq's done exactly that on the left. Sunil Chhetri scored a brace in India's only World Cup qualifier win against Bangladesh. Scored a brace in the last game 3 nights ago against Cambodia. Scored in the SAF Cup wins as well after a torrid start to their campaign. Manveer Singh was one of the goal scorers there. In fact, his last goal, I think, came against Maldives.
That's some good pressure for Manveer Singh. He had no business trying to win that ball that goes way above his head, but that's what I like about Manveer Singh. If he's not amongst the goals, if he's not putting in those assists, he's constantly working hard for the side.
Slightly better statistic from Afghanistan's point of view in terms of possession. It read 42-58 about 20 minutes ago. More balance now, as Afghanistan have found a little more composure perhaps. They were looking at a very aggressive India in the first 10 or 15 minutes.
The Indian side just put their foot off the gas a little bit in the last 5 or 10 minutes. We know that it is hot and humid conditions here, but this is the kind of occasion where you have to keep putting that pressure every single minute on the opposition.
at least in the first 40 minutes, they would have answered Anush Dastagi's question about how lucky they've been. Can't say they've been lucky in the first 40 minutes now, surely.
Yeah, India have definitely been the better side, creating chances, but then again, the same problem. They aren't testing the keeper enough.
Yeah, but he could be the man smiling if they find a goal from somewhere. And this is around the window where India will have to be wary. Remember Zelfi Nazri scoring in the first minute of extra time at the end of the first half, which had to be cancelled out in the 3rd minute of injury time by Len Dungal back in Dushanbe. Liston Colasso looking for space to shoot, trying to pull the trigger. The shirt's been pulled instead and wins India a free kick in a delicious position. The crowd's getting into it. The Afghans are not happy, but I think there was a clear pull of the shirt, the tug of the shirt, causing that foul.
It definitely looked like a pull of the shirt. The referee did wait for a second to be 100% sure. There it is. That is a clear foul and a free kick in a much better position this time, a lot closer to goal. Well, this time you can see Sunil Chhetri has placed the ball. He fancies himself.
Number 83, won't put it past him. Just 2 behind Ferenc Puskas, 4 behind Messi, 7 behind Mukhtar Dahari, the great Malaysian from the 70s and 80s. Of course, Ali Dai of Iran is the all-time leader amongst Asians with 109. The 211s fighting it out. I'm sure Chhetri's going to take it, not the other number 11. But Afghanistan know the value of keeping a clean sheet going into halftime as well, given the chances even India have had, particularly from set pieces. Chhetri to take it by the looks of things. All eyes on him at the Salt Lake, and I'm sure people watching all across India in this crucial Group D match. India have beaten Cambodia in the first, and they need a goal here to make it 2 wins out of 2, at least get halfway to that stage. About 6 men in front of the number 11 for India. The captain ready to press the accelerator, to pull the trigger. Is he going to go for goal straight? Sunil Chhetri hits the wall flush. Again, another attempt, another block. A corner for India. And that's been the story of the first half.
And that 3rd attempt from Anwar Ali looked like the closest from the 3. The wall does its job. The rebound falls to Sunil Chhetri with his left foot. Not enough power. But Harun Amiri with a block again. You would expect someone of Sunil's caliber to hit the target from that distance. He's done that time and again for club and country.
Three minutes added on. The man who's just extended 3 years on his Bengaluru contract is ready to deliver. Now Roshan Singh whips it in, headed away once again. Liston out wide right towards his club teammate Manveer Singh. Manveer, Sunil Chhetri! Sunil Chhetri! He did everything right, but get a shot on target. And just like that, a chance goes to begging. And only he could have created something out of nowhere there.
Well, you know exactly what he was trying there, Sunil Chhetri. The acrobatics. Well, this cross from Manveer Singh just helps out from a deflection there from one of the Afghanistan players, and when it falls to Sunil Chhetri, he gets it on his left. We'll have a closer look at this again. That's the flick. Takes it on his chest. Beautiful skill to beat Amiri, and just doesn't get enough connection with his right foot.
Here's a chance for Afghanistan on the other side. Sandesh Jingan is there. He's pulled up. That's terrible news. That's terrible news for him if he cannot continue after this, and it looks pretty bad as well, just the way he's gone down. Is that his calf?
Yes, he's holding on to his calf muscle. That doesn't look good. We know he's had a history of that. He's had a calf muscle very recently, and the way he's gone down, it doesn't look good, Anand.
What a half of football we've had, though. We've had Sharif Muhammad injured in the opposition camp. He had to go off. And now Sandesh Jingan, the pillar of that Indian defense, looks like he's going to struggle to continue. And that's the through ball that released the man who was in the spotlight, Haidari.
That doesn't look good. It just comes from a sprint where he's getting the spray on. And it looks like he's jogging back. It looks like he's all right.
Well, that's a great sight to begin with if you're an Indian football fan. Some concerned faces in the crowd.
Well, the way he went down, Anand, it looked like he probably wouldn't be able to continue, but it's so good to see him getting back on the field.
Well, looks like it's all good. Or maybe just trying to get into half-time somehow is Sandesh Jhingan. Either way, that's brave of him.
He's walking all right at the moment, which is a good sight. We've still got Preetham Kotal and Subhashish who are warming up on the sidelines just in case.
You can just see their better halves in the crowd as well. So, great foresight as well with Subhashish Bose warming up. Faisal Shaiste. He's got a wand of a left foot, Faisal Shaiste. He's just having to play a lot deeper because of the need of the hour for Afghanistan. If he gets anywhere near that final third, he's more than capable of a goal or two. He's the highest goal scorer in this squad for them. Popalzai crosses it in straight towards Gurpreet. The idea was right, the execution not quite.
Well, he was looking for that forward run of Azad Zoy. And that wasn't a bad ball coming in from Popalzai.
And that is half-time. Plenty of chances for India, particularly from the plethora of corners that they've had and free kicks to boot as well. Listons look busy, but the all-important scoreline still reads Afghanistan 0, India 0, as the Blue Tigers continue to search for a goal to make it 2 wins out of 2. Ego's match will cut a worried figure. There'll be some concerns about Sandesh Jhingan's injury as well. There's already been an injury to Sharif Muhammad for Afghanistan. But the captain of Afghanistan knows it's probably half the job done, and now they can do a little more in the opposition half, which is exactly what India have been trying to do, and maybe we'll see more of that come the second half. Half-time, Afghanistan 0, India 0. Stick around. We're at the Salt Lake today, the mecca of Indian football in the city of joy, where India are playing their second game in this Group D. The first one was against Cambodia, where India brushed aside their challenge, winning 2-0 with their first home win under Igor Stimac, and with a clean sheet to boot. Welcome back to Football United. It's 0-0 between India and Afghanistan here. Plenty to talk about though, because the half not without its moments, as I welcome Darren Caldera here. It's been an intriguing half, as Paul Macefield would often remind us, because there have been so many chances for India, particularly from set pieces, but nothing really to write home about, which is not very far.
Yeah, it's been a great game of football. We've had everything except goals. The Indian side have been better. They've created a lot more chances. I like what they're doing on the left flank, especially with Akash Mishra, Ashik Kurunian and Liston Kolasu sometimes drifting on that side. They're creating a lot more chances, but it's the same problem again. Are they testing the keeper? No, they're not. They need to be testing the keeper a lot more, and they need to show a little more quality in the final third. Afghanistan, on the other hand, I would say, came into the game. Towards the 35th minute, they started keeping the ball a lot more better, and they did have a few, I wouldn't say, good chances, but half chances there, but they probably could have got a goal themselves.
Just thinking of the two changes that India made going into this as well. No Brandon, no Anirudh Thapa as well, who looked like he'd picked up a knock against Cambodia in the previous game. But just from what we've seen from India going forward, looks like Stimac has looked for a little more balance perhaps, and a little more attack with Ashik Kurunian coming in.
He's definitely got the balance right. He's got his formation and squad spot on. With Jeekson sitting in front of the defense, it's allowed Suresh Wangjam to do a lot of the box-to-box runs. And Liston Kolasu is playing a little more central, but picking those clever positions. But Ashik Kurunian, for me, has been the man to watch out for. Every single time he gets the ball, he's bombing forward. So is Akash Mishra. But you'd expect a little more attack from that right side. I think Roshan Singh as well as Manveer Singh need to get into the act as well.
And amongst all these things is a Jeekson Singh that must get a mention as well, because he's had some gilt-edge opportunities. You wouldn't possibly say that given the number on the back of his shirt and the position in which he plays, but how about that for an opportunity for India?
Well, that was our best chance. That header, I've seen Jeekson Singh so many of those, not just in matches but in training as well. He's had a couple of them here, there. That first, that second touch, he doesn't get it under his foot, and that's why he loses it out. But India have had those chances, a couple of them. There's one for Sunil Chhetri where we saw those acrobatics. Some other day he would have put that in the back of the net.
It's also been a feisty contest here at the Salt Lake. You'd almost expect that every time India go up against Afghanistan, but that yellow card comes to mind. I mean, Ashik Kurunian and Farshad Noor, the captain on the other side, have been all over each other. There have been challenges flying around at large as well, but it looks like it's not going to, should I just say it? It's not going to end with 22 men on the pitch. Does it look like it from what we've seen in the first half?
Well, let's just hope it ends with 22 men. But they're very committed players all over the pitch. Every single player there. You could see Sandesh Jingan as well, who came off. We thought he came off injured, but came back in. But that's because you want to play every single match. And Farshad Noor, the captain there, needs to be careful after this now. We know he goes and uses a bit of his arm on Ashik Kurunian. That is a foul though, but he needs to be careful going into the second half.
There you can see just getting involved with the referee. And that was the yellow card to Farshad Noor. And Ashik Kurunian was guilty of that initially. And then just that elbow flying around. Oh, better be careful. Another day, another referee perhaps. That could have been the same color as the color of the jersey of Farshad Noor as well. Right, I mean, just in terms of some of the things that we've seen in the first half, have we seen enough of somebody like a Sunil Chhetri? Have we seen enough of somebody like a Manveer Singh, who did look like he was happy to take a few more shots than he did last time around?
Well, Manveer Singh's been a lot more lively, I would say. Compared to that first game, he's getting more involved in the final third. You would expect still a couple of more runs. Sunil Chhetri is doing exactly what he does. Just staying in and around that box and waiting for the right time to get the ball. And you could see he had that close opportunity, but you'll expect him doing the same thing in the second half. You'll expect the younger players like a Manveer Singh, a Liston Kolasu, or Ashik Kurunian to make the runs, but he's going to just find those clever positions on the field.
The fullbacks have been busy once again. Akash, maybe not as much as we saw against Cambodia, but now Roshan Singh has not just delivered the set pieces, he could have put India ahead as well.
Well, I love this kid. I love the fact that he can use his right foot as well as his left foot. And there again, you can see, I don't think he's going to whip it in the box. He's going for goal because he sees the keeper just leaving the first angle empty there. Gets it on his left foot, whips it in. But the keeper probably could have done better, collected that ball, but is not taking any chances, just pushes it away for a corner.
There you can see that opportunity there. Let's not forget it's a different goalkeeper as well for Afghanistan that we're almost used to. No Owais Azizi, although he is available to them on the bench. He's got so much experience, but Anush Dastagir deciding to go with somebody who's just playing his second game for Afghanistan. What about Sunil Chhetri though? Can't not mention him, can we? Number 11, right at the stroke of halftime. There was this acrobatic effort from him, although I think he hit fine air there, but another day that would have been 1-0.
Well, we were off our seats up in the air as soon as it landed on that right foot, but that's just amazing skill there from Sunil Chhetri. He first controls it so well on his chest, completely beats Amiri and takes it back on his right. And as soon as it comes back on his right here, we're going to have a look at that. Takes it on his chest beautifully. That flick with his right foot, beating Amiri. And that moment there, you just think that connection would be better and he would hit the back of the net.
For many, that could have been number 83 from Sunil Chhetri. But what are the halftime stats looking like? You'll see the number of set pieces India have had, particularly corners. On the near post, you've seen Liston deliver. On the other side, you've seen Naram Roshan Singh deliver. But look at that. 0 goals, yes, but 0 shots from Afghanistan. That really stands out. Despite them pulling back the possession a little bit, 9 corners to 3 in favor of India as well. If anybody would just be tuning in right now, you'd possibly think India is all over Afghanistan. But is that the right story?
Well, they have been. They have been the better side. They've kept majority possession. They're creating more chances. It's just the final third that's letting them down. They've started putting some good balls in the box. That's where you need more bodies gambling. And you've seen at the corners, Sandesh Jhingan trying to get into one. You've seen a couple of players making movements. But you expect them to be a little more lethal in the final third.
You've got a lovely Blue Tigers banner just behind where you're standing. I just got a glimpse of it, Darren, over there, right there at the back. That's been the kind of atmosphere here. There was a collective sigh of relief after Sandesh Jhingan looked like he'd pulled up injured, but then he managed to jog back. Did that look very serious to you? Would he be able to continue, you think?
Well, that looked serious as soon as you saw him jogging off. You know, he was limping. He went down in pain, signaled to the bench, and you thought there would be a change because you saw a couple of players warming up right away. But it was strange to see him come back on the field. But that's the kind of character and mentality Sandesh Jhingan has. He always wants to play every single minute.
It's about playing for these banners, it's about playing for these fans, it's about playing in the mecca of Indian football, in the city of joy. Sunil Chhetri is yet to get on the score sheet, but anybody will do as far as these fans are concerned. Where are the goals coming from, Darren?
When you look at Ashik Kurunian, he's been phenomenal so far in that first half. You want to see more of him in the final third. Him and Sunil Chhetri combining a little more maybe, but I'm expecting a goal from Sunil Chhetri for sure.
Would you see any changes going into the second half as well, or are you happy with what we have at the moment?
Well, not from the Indian side. They're looking really good at the moment. There's balance, there's attack. Just test the keeper a lot more. That's all they need.
Scoreline prediction before I let you go?
Still going with a 2-0 to India.
A 2-0 to India is what Darren said earlier. He sticks very much to it. That was the scoreline against Cambodia, and how India would dearly love a similar scoreline against Afghanistan. But the Lions of Khorasan have managed to be defensively resolute up until now. But the story could change because we're in the city of joy, the mecca of Indian football, which has written many a story chapter in Indian football. Could another story be added today by Sunil Chhetri and company? Time will tell whether these tricolours will be flying high and waved around amongst the faithful of Indian football. But as it stands, it's Afghanistan 0, India 0, with these fans hoping for a change in scoreline come the second half on the other side. Welcome back to this coverage of the AFC Asian Cup 2023 qualifiers. India are up against Afghanistan. Igor Stimatz's men up against Anush Dastagir's Lions of Khorasan. 0-0 is how things stand at the Salt Lake Stadium at half-time. There's been a lot of urgency showed by India, particularly in the first 15 or 20 minutes. But nothing much to write home about. Similar story for Anush Dastagir's side, who've really struggled to come to terms with India's intention and ambition and pace, and particularly who's looked very busy, who's also been an absolute pest for the opposition captain in Farshad Noor, and that's why this could be a very different second half, as I welcome Darren Caldera back to the commentary box with India still looking to disturb the scoreline.
Well, thank you, Anand. This scoreline is not going to help either side at the moment. Both sides need those 3 points. India have definitely been the better side. They're looking good in possession, but they just need to be a lot more better in that final third. They need to find a little bit of magic, that creativity. You never know, you could probably see Brandon Fernandes coming on at some point.
Just going to say maybe some changes in the offing, but the good thing is that Sandesh Jhingan is unchanged in the sense that he did look injured just at the stroke of half-time, but he's managed to continue. Not so for Sharif Muhammad, the man in the opposition camp, who had to go off injured. But there's one substitution, there's a confirmation, as Umid Musavi comes on, and Azad Zoy, who did cut a lonely figure in the first half, is going off.
Musavi there, another player for Afghanistan, who's a good attacking player, has got pace and trickery about him. He'll be looking to make an impact right away.
Listen, just looking at Roshan perhaps and thinking he deserved a better ball than that. Just a bit of lack of coordination there between the two. Anush Dastagir has just played one card already.
I've been very impressed with Liston tonight, Anand, especially because he's playing a more central role. But just about his awareness on the pitch, he's playing with a lot of experience, which is good to see for a young kid.
It's great to see the men's national team back playing at home after almost 3 years. The mecca of Indian football. The fans back for national team games as well, as they did on Wednesday night. A much bigger crowd here in attendance today on Saturday night. There was a Chhetri brace, a clean sheet, a win at home after 4 years, and it looked like monsoon arrived early that day in Kolkata. A hopeful cross, and Gurpreet didn't even look to get to it, because he knew that somebody will get to it in an India shirt before him. Manvi does that, does his defensive duties right now, looking to bust the gut to get to it. Roshan's with him. Awkward clearance there from the otherwise usually trusted Harun Amiri.
And the ball is back with Afghanistan and with their captain, Farshad Noor. Back to Hlts.
Oh, lovely 1-2 there. A cross comes in as well. This could be danger for India, but for Akash to arrive. Oh, there's an awkward collision there as well, and hopefully everybody's okay there. Jixon, and sanity prevails.
It's good football from Afghanistan. They started the second half well. There they win the ball back again. It's the captain Farshad Noor.
Just got to it before Jixon. Farshad Noor, expect big things from him. Scored the consolation for Afghanistan. Goes for a shot himself. Looking to make it 2 goals in 2 for himself and his team. And it did break a barren spell, didn't it? His goal the last time around, although not so lucky this time, Darren.
Well, he's looking for his second of the tournament. Goes past a couple of players, but just the body angle's not right. He's leaning behind. Just doesn't get the proper connection at the end on it.
Cleared away. It's an absolute nonsense clearance as well from Harun Amiri. Liston. India attacking from left to right on your screen. A cross comes in as well. A header. Sunil Chhetri is there, and somehow he conspires not to score. Was a bit off balance when he was trying to put that header in the back of the net. And just like that, another chance goes away for the Blue Tigers.
Well, that was so close. You just felt like it was taking forever to drop on Sunil Chhetri's head. But that's positive from India. Ashik Kurunian taking a couple of players on, floats it towards the second post. Manveer Singh does brilliantly well to put it back in Sunil Chhetri's path. And just when you thought Sunil Chhetri was getting enough to put it on target, that's a great opportunity. Again, you would expect Sunil Chhetri slotting that one in.
It's been that kind of a night for him, even just before half-time. He went for a shot with an acrobatic effort and missed it. And maybe they'll start coming like London buses once he gets one. But so far, Afghanistan have done well again.
It's been very similar to that Cambodia game for India, where they've created chances and they're getting close, but they're not testing the keeper again. They're getting really close.
Farshad Noor. Faisal Shaiste, apologies. Omid Musavi has just come on. Once again, India win it back. It's what they do in the opposition half with it is what will matter now and will dictate what happens in the group as well. Jigson. That was good closing down from Noor Hussain. He's looked busy, hasn't he? Musavi, since he's come on that left-hand side.
Well, that's been the difference between both sides, Anand. As soon as India get the ball, Afghanistan are pressing. But when Afghanistan have the ball, you can see India just sitting back, allowing them time on the ball. They need to show a little more urgency.
Put all his power into that throw, did Roshan. Manveer's won it. Cross comes in as well. In fact, that was almost a shot. Oh, that was hit with some power from Manveer Singh. Almost hoping that either Sunil Chhetri or Ashik could get to it.
Manveer Singh does well to outmuscle the defenders there. And that's the right option he's chosen. Smash it across goal, but no one gambling for India. Sunil Chhetri, the only man in the box, but he's a few yards away. Where is Ashik Kurunian? Coming towards that back post when you need him.
Brandon's just getting some instructions near the bench, and it looks like it is only a matter of time when he'll be brought back on to bring in all his creativity. Has created 4 of the 8 goals that India have scored in the World Cup and Asian Cup qualifiers so far, including the one for Chhetri, the second of the night against Cambodia. More direct from Intizar. Great skill from Jigson. On to Liston. Chhetri has put his hand up. Plays it through for Ashik Kurunian. Ashik Kurunian looking to cut it back. Will win another corner for India. Lost count already, Darren.
That's brilliant work there. That all starts from Jigson Singh. Where a clever turn, he beats 2 defenders. And Ashik Kurunian, you see, he's a little bit disappointed there. That's a beautiful through ball coming in from Liston. Perfectly weighted pass. But Ashik Kurunian cannot get his cross in.
There's some words being exchanged between Sunil Chhetri and Haroon Amiri as we look at Liston there. The crowd's getting into it. You would have probably fancied Brandon to take this if he was on the pitch, but Naram Roshan, in a bit of a change of tactic, will be taking one from the far side. He's been whipping it in from the far side on the other end of the pitch with his left. It will be his left, but this is likely to swing outwards. Had it gone out of play is the question. Sandesh Jhingan looking to chase it down. Look at that for effort for a man who was pulling up just before halftime. Wow.
That's a poor corner coming in from Roshan. They're going for the outswinger this time. But it's just too much on the ball, too much for Sandesh Jhingan even to chase. And exactly why you can see this man is going to be brought on, Brandon Fernandes. They need that magic. That bit of sorcery in the final third.
I love that word. And that's exactly what he provides in abundance, does Brandon. And the numbers back it up. You just watch it with your naked eye. There's something else as Brandon, grown in stature, for club and country. in all of this, Gurpreet Singh Sandhu has just had a very, very comfortable evening. He's not even had to worry about any shots flying around. The three-time SAF Cup winner, the ISL, Fed Cup, Super Cup winner. And of course, the first Indian to play in the Europa League, as the crowd gets interested once again with a semi-challenge on Ashik. Oh, this could be trouble. Sandesh Jhingan does well. And he does even better with the result, because that's not a corner, it's a throw-in. But that needed something special.
Top quality defending from Sandesh Jhingan. It should have been Gurpreet's ball. He was just a bit reluctant to come off his line and maybe clear it away. But Sandesh Jhingan, with some excellent last-ditch defending, just clears it away.
Manveer Singh. That's what Manveer does every single time. He gets the ball, he looks for space straight away, although the ball is still in play. Anush Dastagir, 7 years ago, would have been able to touch it. And that is a challenge that will bring a free kick and some relief for India as well.
Manveer Singh doesn't look too happy with that challenge. Great work there. And Musabi knows exactly what he's doing. Just clutching his knee at the moment. And that is a substitution we've been waiting for.
A go in for another. Brandon on, Liston off. And he gets an applause from this crowd in Kolkata. He certainly wowed them. Not too long ago, he was scoring a hat-trick for the Mariners as they progressed to the next round of the AFC Cup. His efforts for the evening are over. Gets a hug from Stimats, a semi-hug from Mahesh Gowli as well. Who knows, he also had to do his defensive duties today, did Liston, on many an occasion. Right, time for Brandon to show what he's all about then. Gosh.
Brandon straight away taking that most central role that Liston Colasso was playing. And they will look to get the ball to him as much as they can.
It's been cagey, it's been tight. And so far, no goals inside, but you'd have to argue India have come the closest to it. Chhetri with a couple of chances. Jeekson with a gilt-edged opportunity in the first half. Another day, his header would have found the back of the net. Wow, he's taken a tumble as Akash Mishra. And the perimeter board's gone flying with it. And this is not because of a storm in Kolkata this time.
Foul on the captain, Farshad Noor. He's been instrumental for the Afghanistan side. But they've started the second half a lot better, Anand. They're keeping the ball, look a little more threatening.
That certainly is a threatening cross. Roshan didn't want to take any chances, will concede a corner. Where it just went above Sandesh Jhingan's head.
A good corner coming in. But Roshan knows exactly where his man is.
Good news is, from a neutral standpoint, that even Afghanistan would look to show some urgency in this. They need the win even more desperately than do India. Because they lost their first game against Hong Kong, in case you missed it. 2-1 was the scoreline then on Wednesday evening. Taken by Kuyar. Faisal Shaiste with that wonderful left foot, whips it in, gets another block from Roshan.
A short corner from Afghanistan this time, but in the end a good block coming in. Shaiste this time on the ball. We know he's got a beautiful left foot.
Whips it in, punched away by Gurpreet Singh Sandhu. I think that's the hardest he's had to work this evening, Gurpreet, in just stretching that 6.5 feet frame to about 7.5 and punching that away.
It was easy there, just comes out, no pressure on him, punches it away, it falls. The second ball though falls for Najim, but gets his technique horribly wrong.
straight to David Ahmed Najem though. It's closing in on the hour mark here at the Salt Lake. Still 0-0 between the two sides. And now this is a game of chess almost. It's a game of patience from India's standpoint. They made one change in Brandon. We'll be looking for more creativity in the opposition half. Sunil Chhetri still very much there. Chasing causes. Was a foul from the back, and Suresh can't complain about that one. The referee blows the whistle and calls correctly.
And he isn't complaining either, just a little too over-eager to win the ball. Musabi doing well to just shield it away from the oncoming Suresh.
Taken by Noor Hussain. Once again, Anwar does beautifully. How good has Anwar Ali been over the last game and a half alongside Sandesh Jingan?
Absolutely brilliant. He just keeps it simple. His positional sense is top class. And he's a footballer, a defender who can play from behind. That's what we've always needed for the national side. We've needed more defenders who can play out from behind. We know we're missing Sana Singh. Rahul Baker is not starting either. But that's where Anwar Ali is so good.
A searching ball for Manveer Singh, and guess who's there? Amiri again. Could almost build a house here now, Amiri. Unless he has already, Darren, you'd know more.
They did have a house in Pune a couple of years ago. Not too sure if he still does have it.
It's like Intezar will make us all wait a little bit because of that injury. I wonder what that's all about. I wonder whether that was a challenge or whether just a hint of cramp there for Intezar. One of the 5 changes made by Anush Dastagir going into this game.
It's just looks awkward. Looks like his foot gets stuck in the grass. But he's back up and walking all right, so that's a good sight to see. And that's absolutely brilliant to see the Indian fans loud and proud.
And they're certainly getting into it. It was absolutely magical and surreal on Wednesday night here at the Salt Lake. And that's why sport, let alone football, is absolutely nothing without fans. And Salt Lake is an experience like no other. If you haven't been here, please do come. Manveer with that cross. Ashik was around. Oh, Brandon's given it away here. And you have to win it back, and that's a challenge from Brandon. He knows exactly what he's doing. Bit naughty, but perhaps one for the team there, Darren. Taken quickly by Afghanistan.
He's lucky to not get a yellow card for that, because that was an intentional foul, stopping a good attack from Afghanistan.
Professional foul is what they say from professionals, Darren.
Absolutely right, Anand.
Cross coming in, a header as well. Wow, that's possibly the best chance of the game, and that's fallen very kindly for Haidari, who's been chasing lost causes all evening, and suddenly he found himself with a yard of space. But the header doesn't find the target.
How has he missed that? Nobody marking him. Beautiful ball coming in from Popelze, and Haidari should be scoring that. Sandesh Jingan has absolutely no idea. Anwar Ali has no idea. He picks a spot in between both of them and gets it horribly wrong. That's a big, big chance for Afghanistan.
This is exactly how Bangladesh had hurt India at the Salt Lake in that 1-1 draw, when suddenly at the stroke of half-time there was a bit of space and Gurpreet was beaten.
Just goes to flick that ball instead of getting more of his head onto it.
Ashik ready to take a throw in quickly. Oh no, he settled for Akash. So right, you go for it. Got a bit messy there, the far side. Who asking a lot of Anwar is Gurpreet's pass there, and somehow he managed to keep it in, and then got let down by his teammate in Akash Mishra.
Just poor from Gurpreet Singh with that pass. Anwar Ali definitely does well, but Akash Mishra fails to then keep it in. Possession back with Afghanistan. There again, they're just giving the ball away too cheaply, India right now.
They'll have to be wary, India, at the moment. These are the Asian Cup qualifiers. This is Group D. Hong Kong have won their first 2 games. The Hong Kong challenge comes for India in 3 days' time. India have won their first game. They win today. They'll match Hong Kong in making it 2 wins out of 2. And then it could well come down to that game on the 14th. But first, they've got to pick up a goal here and those 3 points, which is exactly what would be top of the agenda for Afghanistan in the remainder of this game, half an hour or so.
Well, this is a completely different Afghanistan side to the one we watched in the first game against Hong Kong. Anush Dastagir made those changes, and they look like a side who are hungry at the moment. They're not giving India an inch. They're fighting for every single ball, and it's been a great game of football so far.
Yeah, Jackson struggling there a little bit. He's worked immensely hard all evening today in Kolkata. One of the 2 changes made by Shtimats. No Brandon, no Thapa in that starting 11, so Jackson got a look in. I think a substitute already getting ready to come on. Could be Glenn Martins by the looks of things. Did come on in the previous game as well.
It looks like a like-for-like change. Jackson, who's worked very hard in the middle of the park. It's not easy coming to your first game. Could be a touch of cramps, looks more like that. Some fresh legs in Glenn Martins will come in. Assistance from the legend Mahesh Gowli.
Absolutely. Just going to say the development of these Indian players, and you've got legends like Mahesh Gowli in there. And he'd be proud of what Jackson has done, and equally of what Anwar Ali has been producing over the last game or so. Sure, a lot goes into the preparation for matches like these, especially when the national team doesn't play together as often. They're with their clubs during the season. Bit of a wayward pass there from Roshan has given a chance to Afghanistan to just make use of this opportunity while India are just putting their house in order with Jackson out. More pace from Afghanistan. Watch out for them. More comfortable with Brandon on the ball. Ashiq looking for Chhetri. He's been tripped from the back. Will bring a yellow card this time for Amiri. This battle has gone around all evening, and finally there's a yellow, and you can see what it means to the crowd.
Well, they've been having a great battle, these two. Harun Amiri and Sunil Chhetri. They've had multiple battles at club level as well, and Jackson Singh did try to play on, but you can see the cramps are troubling him, which is why Glenn Martins does come in.
Substitution for India. Number 4, Jackson Singh, how now jump is replaced by
Glenn Martins on.
Glenn Martins.
Brandon on. Some Goan flavour added to this in Kolkata. I wonder if there will be a carnival to celebrate from the end of the 90 here. India search for that elusive goal at the moment. Sandesh to Anwar. The ball looped forward. Has he managed to keep it in? I think he has. The referee's okay with it. He's from Malaysia. His side's doing well in the group.
Yeah, they're doing pretty well. And now you need the whole ball to cross the line. As you can see, it looked like half the ball there. Akash Mishra does well to make sure keeps the ball in possession.
That's the beauty of you, Darren, as well. I mean, you've got these younger Hawkeyes. You could see it from a distance. I couldn't tell. I was looking at the referee whether the ball had crossed or not, but you could tell whether the whole ball had crossed the line. Fantastic stuff. That's why we have you here. Ashiq Gurunian! And that's why we have him there. What an effort, absolutely out of nowhere. Needed a better finish than that. But suddenly India declare their intentions here at the Salt Lake.
Igor Stimac loves that. As soon as he gets the ball, he receives it. Just a clever turn, takes it on his left foot. And he's hit that so sweetly, but just doesn't hit the target. There was absolutely no chance for Amiri if he was hitting that on goal. Massive opportunity. Looks like another player, Harun Amiri, this time down. And again, cramps. It is a humid day, Anand. It's not been easy for the players.
It's a strange couple of minutes for Harun Amiri. He's received a yellow card. He's protested it with the referee. Now he's gone down when the medical staff looked to, or one of his teammates looked to help him. He said no help required. And then the medical staff comes on, and now he has to go off because of the rules of the game. Right, number 10 for Afghanistan coming off then. So that's enough from Faisal Shaiste, who did come on in the previous game. And that's it from Kuyar as well, who hasn't looked as threatening as he did against Hong Kong, particularly in the second half. Kuyar was involved in so many good things going forward for Afghanistan. But an opportunity nonetheless for Mustafa Zazai. And by the way, in all of this, Harun Amiri is still off the pitch, and Zubair Amiri, I'm sure Indian fans will remember him as well. It was his goal in the SAF Cup final. It was shot from distance, but straight into the safe hands of Gurpreet. It was Zubair Amiri's goal that was cancelled out by JJ Lalpeklu until Sunil Chhetri of Afghanistan into submission late on in Thiruvananthapuram.
A lot of these players from Afghanistan have a lot of experience. They've been used to playing against this Indian side. And Zubair Amiri, another player who came on in that first game against Hong Kong, would look to make an immediate, instant impact.
By the looks of it, Harun Amiri is okay as well. Just taking a cue from the Indian number 5. Looked like he was struggling just about 2 minutes ago. Played forward towards Manveer. He's got the ability with left and right. This time uses the right to cross it as well. Sunil Chhetri was arriving. Cleared away just in time by David Ahmed Najem. How close was that again?
If David Najem doesn't get his head to that, that is a goal for sure. Again, Manveer Singh takes it back on his right, just floats it towards that second post. But how important is that header from David Najem with Sunil Chhetri looking around?
And here's the change that you were looking for, Darren. Brandon to deliver a corner for India. Similar situation against Oman. Took a different routine. This time goes more direct. That's Brandon! And Anwar coming ever so close to that first for India. And India will just have to wait again. They're getting there.
This is the first time from a set piece, especially from a corner, where it's landed on one of the Indian players' head. This time it's Anwar Ali. Does everything right. Nobody's marking him. And he should be hitting the target again. That's a good opportunity for him. Disappointing that we're not testing the keeper enough. Again, another big opportunity for India to get their first goal.
And so Afghanistan build again. We're going to go more direct towards Omid Musawi. Sandesh Jhingan just out of position there for a second. Opportunity, good save, Gurpreet Singh Sandhu. And suddenly the big wall of India is called into action, and Zubair Amiri doesn't find the opening. How about that for a save from the big man?
What a save from Gurpreet there. Nobody is marking Zazai, makes that late run. Akash Mishra has absolutely no idea. It's a beautifully floated ball coming in. Zazai off his feet, beautiful technique. But Gurpreet Singh called into the action and makes that save. Luckily for him, the rebound doesn't fall to one of the players in red.
Corner taken as well, but the header will not find the target. That could be a vital, crucial, pivotal monumental save in the context of this group and not just this game. It doesn't always have to be Qatar or Jordan or Bahrain for Gurpreet to save India again. A giant of this team and more, and certainly a giant in the making in Indian footballing folklore.
That's how important it is as a goalkeeper. Every single second, he's not got enough to do. He's not had a lot of touches, not enough saves to make, but you're called into action suddenly and he steps up with a beautiful save.
Manveer, who's interested in giving him some company. There's Ashik on the left. Chhetri. Brandon threads it through. He was expecting Manveer to go through as well. Manveer went wide. The ball went straight into the hands of the keeper.
Well, that's a great run from Manveer Singh, but he's looking for Ashik. Ashik needs to be sprinting ahead, not behind him. And they kind of just lose space. Brandon not aware of a defender. And they need to make these opportunities count. That was a 3v3 at one point.
Foul given in favor of Afghanistan. There was a bit of shirt putting from Brandon. It's Farshad Noor. Taken quickly. Mohammad Musavi takes a shot himself. More comfortable this time for Gurpreet than the last time he had the ball in his hands with him on the ground. About 15 minutes or so to play. And India probably thinking where the goal is coming from.
They have to find that goal, but at the same time they need to be wary of this Afghanistan attack, which they are on again.
Musavi's cross will only reach Akash Mishra. On to Glenn. Oh, beautiful there. So composed, so calm from Naram Roshan Singh. Not so on the other side of the pitch though. I'll bring a throw in for the Lions of Khorasan.
Oh, that's a sport again. You cannot be giving away possession so cheaply.
A draw does precious little for Afghanistan, doesn't do a great deal for India as well.
That's why this game is so entertaining, Anand, because Afghanistan need those 3 points and they're not sitting back, which is allowing spaces, and India are chasing this game as well.
Great tackle from Naram Roshan Singh. And just in 77 minutes and the 90 of the previous, he's suddenly grown in stature in that full-back position for India.
Gets that tackle absolutely spot on, young Roshan Singh. Having another very solid game in defense. Suresh winning the ball again in the middle of the park. Akash Mishra this time.
The double A's, Akash and Ashik combining there on the left side. Look at that pace from Ashik. Possibly the best chance that Brandon could have hoped for to get his first goal for India, and it just does not fall right. He slides into it by looking to side-foot it, and the chance goes a-begging again. The provider almost turned goal scorer for India.
That's another great opportunity for India. Ashik with that run, a great cut back, and Brandon picks up a beautiful position. It's just gets his angles wrong. Not the right body shape, and just places that away from goal. Another big opportunity. For someone like Brandon, you'd expect him to hit the target.
Absolutely. Manvi wasn't even looking at the ball. Intizars tried to play it through to Omid Musavi. A bit of a miscommunication between two otherwise very good friends, Sandesh and Gurpreet. Cleared away.
Just too much on the pass from Jingan, which is why Gurpreet doesn't take a touch, just decides to go first time and clears it away.
Dastagir, still in his early 30s, his Anush Dastagir was already seen a lot back home. And he's tried to put this side together with, as he said, I think about 14 players who ply their trade in Europe or internationally. Cleared away by Anwar, and again, quite comfortable. Crowd try to egg them on. Glenn Martin looking for a direct approach for Sunil. Just a little too much pace on it. He's looking to float it, Glenn, to be fair to him, but possibly 2 yards ahead of the great man.
A couple of years ago, Sunil Chhetri would have probably got to that ball. But again, Glenn Martin's just asking too much of him. This is where India just need to hold that ball for a little more, make a few passes, and just catch Afghanistan off position.
So Hong Kong are top of the group at the moment with 2 wins and 2 and 6 points and a goal difference of +4. If the scoreline remains the same, India will remain in that second position with 4 points, but Afghanistan would have opened their account, which means it comes down to that last game, should we say that last match day, where Hong Kong might just be happy to play for a draw, and India would be desperately searching for a win like Afghanistan are in this one, to be able to top the group. So 6 group toppers go through to the Asian Cup straight away, but there's also space for 5 runners-up. And the moment you drop points like Afghanistan and have already done, and India are doing at the moment, suddenly get yourself into the realm of hope and permutations and combinations.
Still 10 minutes to go, and you've rightly said, Anand, so many permutations and combinations. And all of that can change if you get a goal now.
And now they have some defending to do. Gurpreet Singh Sandhu was called into action not too long ago, and it needed a good save for him to make sure that his second consecutive clean sheet is intact. It was the first clean sheet under Igor Stimac at home in the last game. So it's taken some effort. And instructions from the big man as a leadership group in that team with Chhetri and Jingan and Gurpreet Singh Sandhu. Add Papa and Brandon in the mix as well. Substitution meanwhile getting ready for Afghanistan. Not sure if the captain's very happy with the substitution being made at this moment in time, but Noor Hussein's done for the day, and it will be Farid Sadat who will come on for him. I think he'll have to wait. The captain's had a save. Taken from distance, Gurpreet will collect it comfortably. Was hit with some venom, but by the time it reached Gurpreet, the sting had gone away from it and made it more comfortable for the big man in goal.
It looked like there was just a little bit of movement.
Wow, India just playing some head volley there. Their own detriment.
India don't really need to do that at this moment. Just risky play from them.
Captain almost managing a way through in the box. Very comfortable there once again from David Ahmed Najem. What a New Jersey. That's the other thing. So many of these expat players in this Afghan team. Some of their families moved abroad, and some of them were born abroad, but have that Afghan passport, dual citizenship. Some play in Denmark, in Germany in the 4th and 5th tier, in Sweden. But suddenly India have found a new gear. Oh, his mind went faster than his legs over there, and suddenly he's out of breath. Somebody's helping him out, and it's Ashik Kurunian. Mangvi's got space, but Ashik will look up to him. And it will be a free kick. And what a position for a free kick to be earned. They can argue all he likes, Mustafa Zazai, but he knows he was guilty there. And Ashik's space troubled him, and that's what created the opportunity, Darren.
Just strong, positive running from Ashik Kurunian. It falls to him, and Zazai does well to chase him, but not 1, but 2, 3, 4 fouls. Doesn't stop. And that's good refereeing in the end. Tries to play advantage, but realizes there's no real advantage there. And this is a very good position for India at the moment.
Number 6, Noor Hussein in
how this substitution will turn out as well. But there's certainly more intention by Anush Dastagir by bringing on Farid Sadat. But it's Ashik Kurunian's free kick, or rather his effort of winning that free kick, that suddenly created an opportunity. There are a couple of interested parties in that, as the man in goal, Faisal Ahmed Hamidi, just gives instructions to what looks like a 5-man wall in front of him. Make that 6 now, with the number 7 Zubair Amiri adding to the solidity of it. The last time Chhetri took it, it hit Harun Amiri flush on the head. Brave of the man, the former captain.
You've got Roshan Singh as well, who looks interested, and Brandon Fernandes as well.
Who's your money on?
Well, I like to say Roshan Singh.
But it's Sunil Chhetri who takes it! Chhetri at the Salt Lake on its hallowed turf, on the scoring stage, adds another to his great gallery of goals. In a city steeped in history and rich with footballing legacy, arrives another story of greatness. That is Sunil Chhetri, 1-0 India.
This man is different gravy. Oh yes, he is. What a brilliant free kick. Absolutely phenomenal from the man. Look at that. It looks like there's no backlift at all. Takes one step, curves it around the wall. There's no chance for Hamidi in goal. What a beautiful free kick from the man.
Celebrate him, India, while he continues to score, pushing boundaries every day. A goal-scoring work of art at play amongst the all-time Asian greats today. Wow, it can't be him. It's him again. It's always him again. Because Chhetri unfailingly brings his A-game. He's without doubt India's one-man Hall of Fame.
You know, Anand, we constantly ask who's next after Chhetri. For how long is he going to play for the national team? And what I have to say is, you just got to enjoy every single moment he steps onto the pitch. What a player this man is.
83 and counting. Just one behind the great Ferenc Puskas with another goal for India today. Awkward clearance from Sandesh Jingan, but anywhere will do at the moment. It's been that kind of a night when opportunities have come and gone. But legends like these are seldom born.
It's back to defending for India now. They have to be wary. Yes, they've scored a goal now, but they need to concentrate and make sure they clear this away.
Now India don't want any last moment hiccups. None of those last moment equalizers. They've faced it many a time before in the World Cup qualifiers, in the friendlies they've played in order to acclimatize with tougher and stiffer opposition. The Lions of Khorasan have roared. They've also held strong. Now they come again and a header goes in. Just as we say that, a header finds the back of the net, and Afghanistan through Zubair Amiri, who else are back in it. Drama here at the Salt Lake.
And there's silence in the stadium right now, because that's a thumping header from Zubair Amiri, but where is the marking? There's absolute shock right now in the stadium. Beautiful ball coming in. Nobody is marking Zubair Amiri. Manveer Singh pointing to Sunil Chhetri. Sunil Chhetri pointing to Manveer Singh, and there's no chance for Gurpreet in goal. Gets enough of power on that header towards the first post, and that's disappointing from the Indian national team.
Two changes, and you can tell from his body language. Just having a right go at Manveer Singh. Was he responsible for marking Zubair Amiri? Who wouldn't bet against it.
There's no one at that first post. It's a free header in the end. Very poor marking in the box from India.
Udanta comes on, replacing Manveer Singh. Does India have something in their reserves to find a result in this one, which looks like 3 points and not one? Twice they've played Afghanistan in the World Cup qualifiers. Twice they failed to give good news back home. And it's been 1-1 draws galore. Ashiq has other ideas. That's got to be a yellow card. It will be a yellow card for Omid Musavi.
Ashiq Kurunian was off on his bike, and Musavi knew exactly that. Just wrestles him to the ground. There's no chance catching Ashiq Kurunian, and uses his arm as well as his leg to get him down.
Chhetri is off the pitch. Musavi's gone into the referee's book. For all those asking who next after Chhetri, possibly this is the best opportunity for someone to stand up, take responsibility and get a win here for India. Now Roshan saying across that didn't have the same whip as we're used to seeing from him so far. Ashiq Kurunian was looking to pull the trigger. It's fallen kindly, not once but twice.
That's more pressure from India. This time with Danta.
He went a yard too far back. Ashiq Kurunian. Here is one for you! Here is one for you! Sahal Abdul Samad! Imagine scoring a goal in Kolkata. That will be celebrated in Kannur and Kasaragod and Kochi. And the whole of Kerala. The Manyapara somewhere will be singing loud and proud. Sahal has just stunned the Stone Lake crowd. Wow!
That's a brilliant strike from Sahal Abdul Samad. And what a time to score it. The Indian camp are completely pleased with that. This man points to the skies. And that all comes from the added pressure from this India side. They've made a couple of passes in and around the box. Ashiq Kurunian there cleverly plays that for Sahal Abdul Samad. Nobody tracks his run. And when he gets it on his right foot, slots that with power to Amiri's right. And he's got no chance there. Look at that acute through ball. And that's a brilliant finish for Sahal. 2-1 to India. Mahesh Gauli ecstatic. Igor Stimac ecstatic. And of course Sahal Abdul Samad as well.
Absolutely outstanding, outrageous, sensational this. What a game of football we've had. And there's still more to come. Because Afghanistan are not done. And India know it because of what Zubair Amiri produced straight after Chhetri put India ahead once again. What a story this could turn out to be for Sahal Abdul Samad as well. While Afghanistan get ready to take a free kick.
They're going to throw all the men forward now for this free kick, Afghanistan. India need to be alert, need to concentrate. They have to weather the storm right now. There is going to be pressure from this Afghanistan side.
The crowd's right behind them now. They've got some defending to do. Gurpreet Singh Sandhu has been beaten once. Afghanistan have not been beaten the last two times India faced up against them. Another header comes in, and this time just goes past Gurpreet Singh Sandhu's goal. Before Farid Sadat could get to it, Anush Dastagir cuts a frustrated figure. He's almost given up, but his boys haven't yet, and I can assure you of that.
Again, there's no marking in the box for Zubair. Amiri gets a touch to that. No one is following Sadat. Luckily for India, that crosses the line. They have to be careful, Anand. It's such a crucial moment in the game right now.
It's a massive moment indeed. And what a land to do it in. A land that's given us footballing greatness. Goshtapal, Mohammad Salim, Sailan Manna, Chuni Goswami, who captained India to a gold medal in the 1962 Asian Games and a runners-up finish in the 1964 Asian Cup. PK Banerjee would be looking on as well at all these boys. The captain in the 1960 Rome Olympics. Krishanu Dey, Subrata Bhattacharya, so many more. A land almost frozen in time. Like almost an Indian football valley civilization where the Mariners, the East Bengals of the world and Mohammedan Sporting have given the distinct identity of being the mecca of Indian football, the spiritual home of our beautiful game here. And another chapter could well be written with Sahal's winner. Another man from Kerala on the ball in Ashiq Kurunian. Sahal creating space for himself. Takes his time. And India need to take their time, run down the clock. And that's exactly what the instruction would be on the far side. Tricolours everywhere. Udanta Singh manages to find a teammate. Ashiq turns, wins a corner for India and draws a collective sigh of relief here at the Salt Lake Stadium.
That will do. They need to just make sure they keep the ball in the corner now. Go in for a short corner, keep it simple.
Taken shot by Udanta. It's a strong challenge on him as well and will win a free kick for India. And it's not often that a free kick is welcomed as much as a goal, but that's exactly what's happening on the far side at the moment. 95 minutes have been played, and surely India, after failing to win against Afghanistan in the World Cup qualifiers, are almost there. They're almost there, the Blue Tigers. Could be a huge result in the context of the group. Yes, Hong Kong, the challenge still to come in 3 days' time. But these 3 points are worth their weight in gold.
Just run down the clock, that's all they need to do.
Will Brandon take a shot? Brandon Fernandez straight into the hands of the keeper. And that just gives the possession back to Afghanistan. All eyes on the Malaysian referee. Lays a diagonal. Headed away by Anwar. He's been resolute alongside Sandesh Jhingan in defence. The Malaysian referee will blow the whistle at the Mecca of Indian football, at the Salt Lake Stadium. There is joy in Kolkata for the fans who've come to watch and support the Blue Tigers. Chhetri's goal gave the opening. Zubair Amiri pulled one back. And then Sahal Abdul Samad, Kerala's favourite boy, has just become the new boy wonder here in Kolkata. Scenes here at the Salt Lake Darren Caldera.
Well, this is massive. Massive for the team. Ego steam match. Getting onto the field. This is embarrassing. Some of the players swinging their arms. This is not what you want to see after such a brilliant game of football.
Yeah, unsavory scenes here at the Vivekanand Youth Bharati Kreenangan. You can see the coach getting involved. Ego steam match. It was brewing. It was brewing right from the moment there was a challenge from Ashiq Kurunian on the captain, and then many challenges flying around. Harun Amiri was involved in many an exchange with Sunil Chhetri. He had a shirt ripped as well. The crowd's into it, and sense prevails hopefully from here on.
Well, they've looked like they've calmed down now. Sahal as well, making sure everyone just relaxes. They've got the 3 points. This is how much it means to them. It all started from that man, Sunil Chhetri. He's calling every single player.
He scored in that SAF Cup final when everybody thought India just haven't turned up in the first few games. And then Sahal and Suresh Wangjam and Chhetri arrived. The fans absolutely love it. Look at the scenes here at the Salt Lake. Feel the vibe, feel the noise, feel the atmosphere. And maybe say, wish you were here.
Well, I've got goosebumps right now, Anand. What a win for India. How important is this win? It's just massive. You can hear the chants from the fans. India, India. Sunil Chhetri appreciating each and every single fan that's turned up at the stadium tonight. They've been phenomenal, pushing the players every single time, and that's what it means to every single player on the pitch.
The expectations were raised by Sunil Chhetri himself. The tricolours were out in even bigger numbers today than last time. Sandesh Jhingan, Anwar Ali in their defence, Gurpreet Singh Sandhu just behind him. These celebrations could go long into the night, but there is still another challenge to come, and India should remember that.
Well, the next challenge can wait for now. It's all about appreciating the thousands of fans who've landed up here at the stadium. It's party time at the Salt Lake.
another chapter added to the glittering history of Kolkata and the football that people have seen here. And it's only fitting that Chhetri is a part of that. Absolutely a part of that. People may argue too many fanboys in here. 83 goals, 59 of them have come in wins for India. I'm sorry you get carried away a little bit sometimes, but such is the greatness of the man.
What a player, Anand. Time and again he delivers. Igor's team match there would be so happy with his boys, because when they conceded that goal and Afghanistan came back in the game, they showed so much character to get that winner.
You could see how livid he was with Manveer Singh as well when Zubair Amiri's header found the back of the net. And he knew 1-0 was not going to be enough, and that's exactly why the body language when he was getting subbed off. And it's only fitting that Sahal arrives on a day when Chhetri was subbed off and the job was not quite done. It's an eye on the future. Chhetri's leaving Indian football in better hands perhaps. But the full-time score is the scoreline for the day. Afghanistan 1, India 2.
Enjoy the match as much as we did.
And just like that, India make it 2 wins out of 2 in this Group D of AFC Asian Cup 2023 qualifiers. And it needed something special from Sahal Abdul Samad after Chhetri had put India ahead, but Zubair Amiri found a way back. The boy from Kerala shines at the iconic Salt Lake Stadium to give India a much-needed 2-1 win and to make it 2 wins out of 2 in this group. But first, as I welcome you to Football United, let's head across to India's captain extraordinaire, Sunil Chhetri.
Sunil, once again, a fine goal. What are the first feelings like? What a win.
Yeah, almost thought we were going to share the points, but the boys did it, man, till the last. Sahal kept his composure. The build-up was good for the last goal. It wasn't easy. All the changes were made. All of them paid the dividends, and it's a very satisfying win. You know, when you almost thought you were going to share the points and to get 3 points, which is so crucial in this group. Really happy with the performance.
You know, you finished 17 years in Indian football tomorrow. In a sense, what is different about this team? What sets this group apart from the others?
I mean, I've been really blessed to play with a lot of groups. This one is a very aware one, a group which knows exactly what their strengths and weaknesses are, a group which works really hard. Slowly and steadily, everyone is taking their places. It's really good to be in the midst of all the boys here. You learn so much from so many of them. And yeah, I'm just so happy. I'm just happy for myself, for the team, for everyone, for the whole fans over here. It was indeed a very special day.
You know, you spoke about the team. Is there a lack of there's no burden of history on this team? Is that one of the factors?
Not that much. I mean, the boys are more aware of what they're capable of. I think they don't take too much baggages on them, which is a good thing. The fact that they are young and they really want to express themselves. They don't read too much about what has happened before and the kind of pressure. You could see how Sahal kept his composure. You could see what Udanta did when he came. You could see Jackson and Suresh, who were just a few days back playing the Under-17 World Cup. So this team is really confident. Not that we're not going to make mistakes. We will, but we're going to bounce back and learn again.
You know, one massive foot into the Asian Cup, and we've never had back-to-back qualifications. How big is this for Indian football?
Oh, man, I'm not sure. We have to go and check all the other groups. But we have a very strong advantage now. We still play a game. We probably will need a point. We'll want to win the game, and we haven't seen the other results. So yes, I mean, we already spoke about it, the bare minimum target for us to qualify for the Asia Cup so that we can go and rub our shoulders with the best in Asia. I think I'm not trying to be too harsh on ourselves, but we need to be playing Asia Cup every edition so that we can assess as to how much we're improving and also get an opportunity to play the World Cup for Asian teams.
How many times are you going to do that again and again for India? You know, popping up at just the right time and scoring crucial goals. It's remarkable.
I'm blessed to be a part of a team which works really hard. It's not me, it's the whole team. We work really hard. Everyone chips in. I'm just, you can say I picked the cherry at the end of the entire cake. That's it. I mean, we all work in, we all chip in. I'm not trying to be modest. I've got a specific role which I try to do. Everyone has a specific role, and we all gel in. We try to be in sync and become a better team. That's the whole target, because it's a young side. Everyone, all the places are still up for grabs. We're going to work really hard and be a strong team.
Thanks, Sunil. Thank you so much.
Yeah, good to get the thoughts of Sunil Chhetri over there. Captain, leader, legend for a reason. And completing 17 years in international football today, so it's only fitting that he started the celebrations a little early. Good to